Welcome back, everyone. Today in Module 6, we'll be talking about understanding argument in the IELTS reading section. Now, in the reading section, some texts present factual articles. It's something like you might see in an encyclopedia or a reference book, and it just gives us information about something. But most articles present some kind of an argument, and that means it presents more than one opinion, and often those opinions, they support opinions with research data or statistics. So there are a few kinds of questions that ask us to understand a logical argument in an IELTS article. So there's a type of question that asks you to select from a list. The way that we handle that, first identify and underline the key words in the question, and then identify similar ideas in the IELTS reading text. Remember to look for synonyms and paraphrases. Often the words in the statement or the question are not exactly the same as they were in the text. So here's an example where they ask you to select from a list. Questions 9 and 10, choose two letters, A through E. Write your answers in boxes 9 and 10 on your answer sheet. So we've got one list, we have to choose two items. And there's a little thing here, this NB. Your answers may be given in either order. This NB stands for nota bene. It's from Latin, and it just means notice this well. So this is an important point. I'm not sure why they make this so confusing for people, but this NB means this is something important. Your answers may be given in either order. So if you pick two and you write A first and then C, A for number 9 and C for number 10, you could also put C for number 9 and A for number 10. It could go either way, and they're both okay. All right, so there's the instructions. We need to choose two. So our first step, look at those factors there, look at these statements, find the most important words in there, and then go back to the article and scan for these words or words that are like it. So if I were to underline some of the important words, okay, so I'm going to be looking for something about the function or the use of something, about the object. So the main question, which two of the following factors influence the design of bakelite objects? So the function of the object, I'm going to be looking for bakelite object, function, use. Ease, so I'm going to look for words like easy or that it's not difficult. We're going to look for a paraphrase too. Something about resin in the mold. Go back to that article, see if you can find those. The facility of the object could be removed. So go through each of these and go back to the text and read a little bit before and a little bit after each one to find out which of the two influence the design of bakelite objects. And this part in the question is actually the most important part to keep in mind. It's about the design of the bakelite objects. And so here's another tip. In this case, you're using boxes 9 and 10. That means that each answer is worth 1 point each. You will sometimes find one question that asks you to put in two answers. That's only worth 1 point. In that case, you must get both of them correct in order to get that 1 point. In this one, it looks like you'll get 2 separate points. If you only find one, you will still get 1 point. But that's not always the case. Okay, so there's another type of question. It's similar. They may ask you to classify a list of objects or some statements. Again, so identify, underline the key words. Make sure you understand the questions. How are we going to classify these different things? If it asks you to identify which category X belongs in, they'll give you a list. Where does this thing go? Scan the text for the part where that category X is mentioned. Then look for supporting evidence that X fits into that category. So here's another example. Classify the following features as characterizing the Head Start program, the Missouri program, both the Head Start and the Missouri program, neither the Head Start nor the Missouri program. So we have 6 questions here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at these statements. All of these use the same A, B, C, D. So we have to read these. Was administered to a variety of poor and wealthy families. We need to go back and check. So it's probably easier to start from up here. So the Head Start program, is this true about the Head Start program? If it's not, you'll check, is it true of the Missouri program? If it's not, then it's neither. You might have to check to make sure it's both. This can be a pretty tricky kind of question. You may have to read for that information in more than one place. Number 6, continued with follow-up assistance in elementary schools. So again, which program is this about? Is that true for Head Start? Is it true for the Missouri program? Both of them? Or none of them? You're going to need to find those main ideas. Scan for this and find out which thing is it talking about. Poor and wealthy families. Is it for both of those? Find out which program that works for. Did not succeed. Which of those programs is that true about? You have to go back. This one, there's very little chance that you will get it from a fast read, but you will still use your scanning to go back, look for something about poor families, rich families. Look for something about elementary schools or primary schools or schools for children. Look for success or failure and try to put them in those different categories there. Okay, so the final type of question that we have to understand arguments with is matching. For this one, look at each person or organization listed and identify the passage, in the passage, what they say, their point of view or argument that they present. Normally the names are in the same order as the reading. So the first name on the list is the first name that you'll find in the reading. And that makes it easier to follow the order of the names, not the order of the statements underneath. So read through the list of statements. They're normally paraphrases of what the people said in the reading. They're not normally in the same order as the reading. The names will be, the first name you see will be the first name that you see in the text. But the first statement you see, the first choice for your answers, is probably not the first part, the first thing that you see in the reading itself. The answers will be mixed up, the questions go in order. So, like before, underline the key words. Quickly skim the reading text until you locate that first name. Remember, when you're looking for a name, look for capital letters. That will help you find it very quickly. Then read before and after to try to find the idea or the viewpoint that that person presents in the article. Then skim through the statements until you find one that you think matches the IELTS reading text. So here's an example of that type. So we've got a list of 4 different names here. So number 14, Brian Waldron. You'll go into your article and scan it. Brian Waldron, Brian Waldron. Ah, here he is. Read through that and remember to read a little bit before and a little bit after. I've seen many times when I've taught a class in person, the students will find the name and they will read after that. And they say, "Teacher, I can't find the answer." And I say, "Look a little bit before." Many times that answer is right before the name comes out. And so you have to look before the name and after the name. So we found the name, then we look at these statements and try to find out which one of these is a paraphrase of the words that he said in the article. They won't be exactly the same words. So that's one of the things that makes it difficult. Look out for other tricks. Sometimes they use one of the words from the article in a statement that actually is not true. So you see that word was here and that word is here. Sometimes it makes you think, oh, I think that's the answer. Double think that though. The answer is usually a synonym. The word in the article is a little bit different than the word here. So be careful about that. Okay, so that's all for our understanding arguments in the reading section. Go to your content area for some more practice. Let's do it. Good luck.